Welcome to Clean Plates, where every bite tells a story. I'm Brian Romaine, joining you on a culinary journey to understand the whys behind our diets and desires. Welcome to Clean Plates, where every bite tells a story. I'm Brian Romaine, joining you on a culinary journey to understand the whys behind our diets and desires. Joining me today is Zaqq Hernandez. Zaqq, how are you doing today, bud?
Good, man. I woke up this morning, so I can't complain.
I hear you. No, I hear that. Yeah, I got two, beautiful, it's not two. I meant like to say that when you wake up the next day after any sort of anything, it's nice to wake up every day.
Yeah, for sure. Even getting to your destination, when you're driving and you're just like, man, thank God I made it today. Like anywhere you go, you just got to count your blessings. That's for sure.
No, yeah. I basically just meant to say earlier, like two eyes that can see, a heart that beats, blood that's running through my body. I'm happy, well-working brain.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. It's going to be such an amazing conversation. I think a lot of people kind of have an idea of like who you are, and there's a lot of people who have no idea. So I think it's a really good split down the middle for us to indulge and engage in a lot of really cool topics.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited for it.
Absolutely. So for those who don't know a little bit about you, you kind of like walk the audience through a little bit of about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm from Topeka, Kansas, which is funny.
Shout out.
I don't know anyone from Topeka, Kansas, lately anyway, besides if you're from Kansas. But I was born and raised in Topeka, Kansas. I grew up in Georgia, Dallas, Georgia, to be exact. I just basically grew up in Kansas, came from Georgia, moved to Florida. Invested myself in a weight loss journey, and now we're here now. So,
no, that's great. Yeah, no, it's funny because I'm from Overland Park, Kansas, and we've kind of like talked about this a little bit. So it's like funny just to like rehash that. But yeah, I grew up in Kansas myself, so I understand what it's like when you even meet somebody from that area, where it's just like, wait, you're from the middle of nowhere too?
Yeah. And it's just like you have like a common ground when it comes to certain foods, certain people and accents, like it's pretty wild because so many people like are always asking me where I'm from. They're like, where are you from? Like, you don't have a accent. And I'm like, oh, I'm from Kansas. And they're like, oh, so everyone there talks like that? I'm like, sometimes, like, it really depends on where you go in Kansas, like, on the Missouri side, it's a little twangy, but if you stay like in Kansas, like Overland Park, Leawood, where I stayed, Topeka, like, it's very formal. The word that you can use is very proper, very proper, no accents at all. So it's pretty funny.
No, absolutely. People always thought when I moved to Minneapolis, when I told them I was from Kansas, that they were like, oh, do like everyone drives a truck and it's just farmland. And I was like, kind of, I was like, because Kansas City is very much like Denver or Chicago or any other big city. It's just got everything,
Very true. Yeah. And it's definitely evolved over the years too, as well.
I would agree. They definitely have matured over the years. It's nice to see that as well when I go back and visit, or the things that I see in the growth in Kansas. But you were describing a weight loss journey earlier. And so for those who do not know, Zaqq has lost a amazing 184 pounds and sort of counting, because, you continue to spread your fitness journey in multiple branches. I see pretty much all of your fitness, content, and it's heavy. And like, you've definitely done something that not a lot of people can physically do or mentally prepare themselves to even begin to think about, because it's such a small category of people who metabolically or genetically can really carry that kind of weight around or have it to lose. So I think that's a small window of people who end up being, able to say, I can fully relate to you, other than all of the flowers that people give you on the journey itself.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that too as well. Because during my weight loss journey, there was no one that actually had that similar story as I did. You don't really see people going to the big side to the little side. You always see the little side going to the big side. It's always um the smaller cats that get, take their creatine, eat a lot of protein, eat a lot of, carbs, and and then they become bigger and like, and more influenced to like the bodybuilding style, but you don't really see it on the other side of the end. So I think that that's what I'm drawn to. And I think that was my niche when I like first started, was pulling out to like the people that looked like me and saying like, I know what it's like to look like this. And I know what it's like to be, thinking every time you eat something, you feel like you're going to do like 8 steps back. But, definitely encouraging people that were like me kind of like made me where I was on my platform. So pretty much how I like wanted to lose weight, because it was always in my head. I always thought like, what, it was always the what if, like, what if I just did it, And I received a Christmas gift from one of my uncles. It was a North Face jacket, and I got it the Christmas before I started wanting to lose weight. And then the Christmas after, I couldn't fit the jacket no longer. And I was so frustrated with myself. I was like, how did I get like that? Like, like, how did I even like want to like, and it would just, it's upset me. It's like, so I was like that day, like I started like, trying to run, started, lifting weights that I knew. I didn't really know anything about working out. So I kind of, watched a lot of like influencers that are like, that I still technically watch to this day. Like Clark Fit is one, Justin Fit. I pretty much watched those guys religiously and like watched their workouts all the time. And it's funny because even Joey too as well, on the 10,000 team, I even watched some of his stuff too, and just like really just like looking at his stuff and just like being like, okay, I can do this. Okay, I can like run, I could like pace myself. I can do this. So eventually I started losing weight, like, 75, like 50 pounds, 75 pounds. And that's when I joined soccer, and I was like, I'm just going to keep going. So and then I did the 100-day run challenge, where I ran a mile for 100 days. And that's what really like knocked my weight off. And then, I kind of was like getting a little bit too small. So I was like, I kind of like want to look bigger. Like, I want to be like Dwayne Johnson. So like I started taking creatine, and then I started, eating more. I started eating more meats, eating more carbs. And now I'm, where I'm at now. And it's, I'm kind of like an NFL player. It kind of feels great. So yeah, I mean, it's been a long journey, and it's still going. I'm not perfect in any way, but I definitely like, I'm having fun doing this. So it's definitely amazing and awesome. So
No, thank you so much for sharing that, because there's so many good points that you really scaled over there, just because I really like that you kind of put it out there that this was, not just for the weight loss, because you were getting to a point where you actually wanted to kind of build a more massive structure and do it the right way, as opposed to having just a ton of mass in general or just being super small. There's a real healthy sort of, medium that you really, went forth. And I think that's inspiring, because it shows people that it's not just about dropping this 184 pounds. It's about doing it in a way that felt the most comfortable to you. And I think that speaks volumes. I really want to congratulate you on just having like a healthy mindset with it, because it's got to be so fucking hard to just like, mentally go through this, and then also be like, wait a minute, I don't even know why I'm doing this. And then finding out your why with it is huge. So again, congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you so much.
How, of course, how would you describe your relationship with food before you started your weight loss journey?
Before, I honestly didn't care what I ate. The only thing I didn't eat was pork. But other than that, I mean, I honestly ate so much. And like I used to like have this joke. I'm pretty sure people from like my school that are watching this are gonna laugh because on the school bus I used to say that I was like a cow and had 8 stomachs because I could eat so much. And like honestly, I could. Like it was like the most craziest thing. Like I honestly could eat whatever I wanted and not feel full. I just kept going and going, and I just felt like I had to like eat it all. And like now I'm at the point where I'm just like, if I feel full, I just stop, and like I don't, overeat. I pretty much, if I feel hungry, then I just drink water. But like, it's a completely different like life. It's a lifestyle. Like when you're lifting weights, when you're eating the proper things, when you're reading, and when you're praying every night, it's a lifestyle. So like that's pretty much what I built for myself. I built a whole lifestyle, and I'm excited to share it with other people. And I'm glad that some people share it and they tell me their stories, or they tell me their testimonies. So it's definitely been, like I said, a huge journey, and I'm still going. So
No, absolutely. Because I mean, it is a never ending journey. Because if you were to just kind of, you know, stop, then it just wouldn't have any purpose, wouldn't have any, lust. So I totally understand where you're coming from, where it always keeps you on your toes. You're always constantly changing things, and you're all probably also having a lot of things stay the same too, which constant is good, because the more that you do something over and over again, especially with food, it is going to respond. Because there's a lot of people that will just kind of agree to this because the science is out there now that if you can stick to a diet that you can do consistently, you will see results in it. And especially if you're balancing your macros to something that's efficient to you, then, right on, because everybody's got a different type of way that food's going to respond to them. And I try to say in a lot of my episodes that it's definitely something you should take more accountability for. And it's something that you should find out what works for you, as opposed to being like, well, Zach did this, so I'm going to do this. Or so and so did this, so I'm going to do that. Which it can be helpful if you see somebody maybe give you an idea to try something to tweak your diet. But there's just not enough like clinical places that you can go where someone is going to give you a proper scan of your gut and the microbiome, and then like print out a grocery list for you. There's very, very few and far between people, kind of like my friend Kate Crowell here in Colorado, who does that, where she's very extensive with her work and her research, and she knows what she's talking about. So it's just one of those things where there's very few and far between people out there that are actually going to like not only like wave that flag, like, hey, I'm here, like come to me. But it just traditional Western medicine just doesn't support it, because of the fact that these doctors are not educated on nutrition enough to like say anything other than, here's a pill that will help you with this, and if you have side effects, we have a pill for that too. It's just, it sucks, but it is what it is. That's going to be a never ending journey until one day you and I are much older than we are now, and it comes out in the tabloids finally that doctors in whatever generation are finally trying to help people with their food. But back to your journey anyway. What were some of the biggest challenges that you would say you faced with food during your weight loss journey? Like, was there anything that just kind of wasn't working, where you hit a wall, or was there something that also maybe on the other side that you saw significantly work very well for you?
Honestly, like I said, going from fast food every day to actually eating like cooked meals was a completely different for me for in general. Like I went, like I said, it was going to fast food and then actually going to like cooked meals. So like doing the whole chicken, steak, and veggies, that was pretty much how I started. And then once I like started seeing like my results and going heavy, then I like joined the soccer team, and then I started doing a lot of. I kind of like went pescatarian for a little bit, for a while actually, and I was like, I'm just going to do the pescatarian thing. So ate a lot of fish, ate a lot of veggies, and definitely held on to my peanut butter for sure. And
Yeah.
honestly, those were like my friends, to be honest. And like drinking water, I didn't drink soda. I don't even drink. So like I don't drink
Hmm.
alcohol. So like I
Me
just
neither.
yeah, I just didn't, I didn't really have that problem to where like, if I was to eat this, then I'm drinking and then gaining, more stuff and more fatty foods with that. So it's just, I mean, it was really hard, going from fast food to eating regular. Cause like when you're going out, people and like hanging out with people, or if you're driving a lot, those options aren't really there for you. So I really had to like stay committed to myself and consistent. And I had a really good support system. I had like my mom to help me like with meals. I had my uncle to help me with knowledge. I had, my friends to really push me and motivate me. And yeah, I mean, that honestly, that's what really got me through for sure.
That's really, really good to hear that you had a great support system, because I think that's probably a big key factor in this whole thing. Because if you didn't have anybody to call or anybody, it's just like being an addict in any other
Yeah.
sense, I mean, I know what it's like to not have any corner to feel like you can go to and finally just ask for the help that you need. And then all of these people come to your corner. All of these people start really helping you out in your journey. So it's really nice to hear that you had family to support you in that journey. That's just really nice, because I think a lot of people don't have that out there, and it's even harder for them. So
Yeah.
for you to put out your content and to be so caring and loving, and to show people that, if you don't have somebody, but you do have people like yourself or the people in your community, and the people in your community seem so caring and so just for the position. So I think that's really great that you're showcasing that, because that kind of like ties in with everything. And I really like that you screenshotted that text message in your story the other day of just being like, this is the best kind of mom. This
Yeah.
is the kind of thing that you need to have if you want something out there like that. So I just think it's great that you are so vulnerable with that kind of thing, because emotional eating plays such a huge role into all of this. So, is that something you really had to address a lot during your weight loss journey?
Yeah, absolutely. I think because honestly, like bad habits of eating, I feel like it's an addiction. I feel like it's definitely something that you have to break, so it causes an addiction. And basically, it takes 21 days to break a habit. So for me, it was a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety that I had, and like I think I just did it with eating. I think that eating was just so simple and just so like easy to do. So I think my depression and my anxiety and just like, and just wanting to be who I was, I think that's what drew me to be such like a heavy eater.
Yeah, I mean, it makes complete sense. The math is there. I mean, it's and like I said earlier, it's something that only a small window of people can really even see the result of, versus the fact that there are so many people out there that emotionally eat.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of people who are not obese by any means necessary or have any sort of inclination that they are larger on the scale, if you will, yet they still emotionally eat. They still, have that attachment where there is a dopamine rush that's going through your body and your brain when you're eating these, bad foods, quote unquote, or whatever it is. It doesn't even have to be like a bad food. I think we have such a stigmatism in this country of like what is bad and what is good. And I think that obviously people are not emotionally eating vegetables or whole food or other things like that. So, of course, there's always going to be that larger percentage of people who they're talking about mostly processed carbohydrates, sugars, things of
Yeah.
that nature. But at the same rate, I mean, it's still something that if you don't have a proper relationship with food, you're going to find these little hiccups that, just end up kind of giving you a jaded perspective on nutrition. So, I mean, that's how I see it. So, how has your perspective on food and nutrition now evolved since you've started your business? And it's AWZ by Zaqq, right?
That is correct. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, I mean, how does that feel? How does that feel now with this new transition? You said earlier you're taking creatine, you're really dialing in on the supplements, and it seems like you're taking your hormone health, to like a level of care as well as with your nutrition. How does that feel?
It feels amazing. It feels, I mean, not actually like going out and like, I still don't like, when it comes to fast food, I don't do that stuff, like, but definitely like, so one thing about me is I can't cook. So
Yeah.
basically I have someone that makes foods for me, grass fed, when it comes to grass fed butter, grass fed, meat, grass fed, pretty much anything that's grass fed for me. I just feel very healthy. Like when I like eat like that, I feel like my gut is definitely taking care of itself, especially like using, supplement greens too, as well. And drinking a lot of water, like, just 8 hours of sleep, it's not all about eating the right things. It's also doing the right things too. So like, breathing techniques if you need it, or, reading, just getting your mind right, just basically your whole body is a temple and you have to take care of it.
You couldn't have said it better. I mean, you're not wrong because it's not just about the food that you eat and that relationship. It kind of goes beyond that because
Yeah.
if you're not moving or like doing anything with the food and you're just staying sedentary, it's going to kind of start to just sit there, and I totally understand what you're saying where getting enough sleep, drinking enough water, having your cells feel good enough to like take this food, give it a function, process it, make it exit, and so on and so forth. Wash, rinse, repeat. There's not enough influence that people see these days from just like, it's not just about this, like people go to the gym for 8 hours and
Yeah.
they eat a bunch of, tasteless dead food. It's, especially because the fact that you've now gotten somebody to prepare your food because that it is hard. It's hard to cook your own food, especially running your own business, working out as much as you do, and having such a tight schedule. So there's no shame in the game of having somebody prepare your food because you're having somebody prepare you such nice food. I mean, it's definitely like a faux pas, and some people would say, but in my opinion, unpopular opinion, doesn't matter if you're cooking it or not. If you're eating good food, that's what's most important. Because again, just to double down, you are so busy that it makes sense that like you don't have time to spend at home to cook and prepare and source things. So, you pay a premium price for it, but at the same rate, it's worth it because you're providing somebody a job that has all these skills that they're then branching out to other folks. So
Yeah.
again, props to you, man, because you're supporting somebody's small business
Yeah. I
that
appreciate that.
is helping you thrive, as well as they're getting their name out there. They're getting, getting to connect with you and others. And I'm sure you refer them to other people if people need that kind of thing. So I think that's really awesome because you're again using your kind of community leadership role to then extend into that. This podcast is brought to you by Evo Hemp. Calling all health enthusiasts, are you looking for a natural way to boost your wellness routine? Meet Evo Hemp, the game changer in the world of health and nutrition. Evo Hemp brings you a range of delicious hemp-based products that are as nutritious as they are tasty. From protein bars and snacks to hemp hearts and oils, they have everything you need to nourish your body and support your active lifestyle. Why hemp, you ask? Hemp is a powerhouse of nutrition packed with essential fatty acids, protein, and fiber. It's the perfect addition to your diet, whether you're a fitness fanatic, a busy professional, or just someone who wants to eat better. And there's something special about Evo Hemp. They partner directly with American farmers, ensuring that their products are sustainably grown and of the highest quality. When you choose Evo Hemp, you're not just supporting your health, you're supporting local farmers and sustainable agriculture. Are you ready to elevate your wellness game? Visit evohemp.com and use the promo code PLATES20 to get 20% off your purchase. That's evohemp.com to use the code PLATES20 at checkout for 20% off today. Discover the benefits of hemp and feel the difference with Evo Hemp. So, how did you even find this person in general? Was it hard to find that kind of source with all the grass-fed, food?
Honestly, when it comes to like my gym that I go to, I would say that pretty much everyone knows everybody. So like it's a pro bodybuilder. Her name is Marie, and I just went up to her and I was like, dude, your physique is like amazing. Like, just like the way that she looks. I mean, she just looks amazing. And, we just basically just became friends. And she showed me that she cooks. And I told her, I can't cook. So she basically helps me with my meals. And, I work out with her every morning. And we just, she's just a really good time. And yeah, a lot of my friends have like reached out to her and ordered some meals for her. So it's pretty cool to watch that too as well, getting her name out there, and then those friends, tell their friends where they get their meals from, because her meals are just so prepared, like a gourmet. Like, like she has like the little sides that she like puts on, like little sauces that you can have, and like little corn, and it's just like super cool. Like, it's just like very very thought out.
And you are currently in Florida, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm in St. Pete, Florida, St. Petersburg. Yeah.
Yeah. No, so that's cool because like that you said her name's Marie. Does she have like an Instagram or anything like that?
Yeah. It's Marie Butler.
Cool. Yeah, just to give her proper flowers on
sure.
that. So
she definitely needs them for sure.
Yeah, of course. And so by eating this kind of food and eating food from her and all of these really nice sourced, meals, do you feel a difference in your performance, at the gym, and outside of it?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I feel more energized. I mean, when you're eating the right things, your mind is definitely going to produce the right things. So I feel like I get really good sleep, working out, just eating the right things in general, like through her, has definitely helped me for sure.
No, that's cool because it seems like you really have like a dialed in system, like pre-workout, post-workout, and days in between. Because I mean, your leg program is offensive. Like you have some of the craziest tree trunks I think I've ever seen on a human.
It's funny. I get that a lot. So it's just funny. That's all.
Well, dude,
But I
seriously, I mean,
appreciate
like,
that.
oh, dude, seriously, like, you could probably have somebody like legitimately break a baseball bat just over, like, they're solid, bro.
I appreciate that. Took me
No,
a
and
while to get them through.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I get it, but it's also it's work. You know, those were once a lot bigger thighs than they
Yeah.
were tight. So it's cool because it inspires even someone like me to see just going back through your posts over like when I was just scrolling through old
Yeah.
Instagram stuff of yours and just seeing and watching the journey. It inspires me to boot. So I just want to let you know that heart to heart that
Yeah.
it's really really cool to just see all the experiences that you've had, all the setbacks that you've gone through to have these plateaus in fitness, and then all of these accomplishments that you've made with your own body. Because you said it earlier, the body's a temple, and that's pretty simple stated because it's just harder to do than most people
Yeah.
think because unfortunately there's too many things out in the world that make you feel good versus do good for you. And when I mean that, like, you know, alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, you know, processed food, other things that are meant to look and mimic something, but they give you such a response that the addiction is very easily obtainable from people. So I think it's, you know, again, you're doing something that most people don't want to do. And that's pretty much stay sober and stay fit and feel good doing it while eating a pretty killer nutrition, you know, stack. So it
Of
sounds
course.
so easy, but it's just so hard.
It is very hard.
Yeah, it's something that I don't think a lot of people will ever understand how hard it is because it's a pretty common misconception that you know food and fitness are just going to be the there is no secret sauce. There is no, you know, absolute magic pill. You have to put in the work. And I mean, what were some of the perspectives that you learned as you were getting smaller and kind of like breaking your own stereotypes, if you will?
Honestly, keeping there was three shirts that I had. There was one that was like too small, like it was way too small. One was kind of like I could fit it, but I could definitely see like I needed to where I needed to go. And then one was just like my normal shirt. So when I was able to fit into the smallest shirt I had, I think that's when I realized I was like, okay, yeah, I'm finally doing it. Because of course you don't really think like, to yourself, you don't really see it. It's someone else that notices it through you, or like you have to see a picture of yourself to like really notice, like what you're actually doing. But I mean, to really, for me, that's how I like kept my focus on was like those three shirts.
No, that's cool. I know what you mean because when I quit drinking in 2020, you know, there's only like a few people, especially with the like infancy of certain parts of social media where like yeah, my first girlfriend definitely had some like I wouldn't even call it like blackmail footage, but definitely like I I filmed this cuz I was so shocked at how you were behaving, which in retrospect I was always kind of like why didn't you just help me? Why were you filming me to show me later that I was wasted? Like put that shit away and like I don't know, help me out. But at the same rate, I don't have like a ton of photos of me like really drunk or passed out somewhere or like some crazy embarrassing, you know, thing just because we were always so in the moment and phones were just kind of older that nobody ever like wanted to see what they looked like all
Yeah.
wasted or messed up. But when people these days see me and they're like, man, you just look so good, or like, you look so healthy, or they just use things and, positive inflections that I totally take with all kindness. I'm not jaded about it. I'm not, weird or like don't want to talk about it. But that's where I can relate to your story, is that what you said earlier is when people see kind of your accomplishments through you, because whoever it is that ran into you at X, Y, or Z time when you were much bigger and now see you and they're
Yeah.
just like it's just like, wait, what? This is a completely different human. Like you are just you literally lost a whole human. So, it's got to be wild.
Yeah, and I get that a lot too. I mean, like even like 'cause my class reunion's coming up pretty soon, and they were looking at my stuff, and they were just like, "You look completely different, like completely different." And I was just like, "Yeah, I mean, I honestly I changed my life because in school, like I didn't really care. I wasn't in sports school, like I honestly I just did theater and ate." That's pretty much honestly what I did. I just felt like eating was like, important. But I mean, it's just eating the right things and like doing the right things. So but yeah, it's kind of cool to like see um different versions of yourself too as well. Because even like when you're going back, when I played soccer, I had a huge man bun, and like I was like this little thing, and then like now I'm like kind of bulky and like NFL type look, and then back then I was like this blob of potato blobs. So it's just it's pretty cool to watch yourself grow in different aspects.
Yeah, and I think it's really cool that you're opening yourself up for that space, because I know what it's like at first to like be doing it and just kind of want to like keep your head down and just keep
Yeah.
working. And then you don't want to like feed the ego goose too much of like, ramping you up in the wrong ways. But I think at some point it's healthy to actually like kind of break that cycle or that sort of like negative self talk, in the sense of being like, well, hey, man, somebody else said it. Like somebody else is recognizing that this is the work I've been putting in. So I'm finally going to allow that to be okay. I'm finally going to allow that to be an all right space to kind of step into, because weight loss journeys are so personal and so deeply rooted in so many things. I mean, it's not really even about the weight as much as it is about the journey, because you have lost a lot, you have gained a lot, and you have kind of evened those out into this current lifestyle. So I really think that you are a true inspiration to a lot of people who are continuing their journey or just starting it wherever they're at, because your positivity shines through the things that you say and the things that you do. And I think that that's a major strategy that a lot of people are going to attach to. So, I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, like if you ever need to know, yeah, this conversation has helped me out so much, just being able to open up to your perspective on everything with food, because I don't think that a lot of people really understand what it's like, because you're just born how you're born, you
Yeah.
know? And so it's like I was saying at the very beginning, it's like most people don't know what it's like to, like, if you eat fast food and it just doesn't, just, goes in and out of your body and maybe throws off your blood work for a little bit. But to some people, it becomes like something you have to do. I heard a story about the comedian Ralphie May, where some of these other comedians were waiting for him at a restaurant and they were like, man, it's been like an hour and a half. Like, where is he? And he finally pulled up and he had like 25 McDonald's bags just in his back car because at that point, it really wasn't even about the food. It was about scoring this from this addiction to get, something out of it. So I just, again, I just want to say thank you to you because you've shown people that it's not only possible, but like you can be this very bright, shiny, amazing person too. Like you don't have to be bitter about losing the weight too.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's something that a lot of people can take away from just listening to this conversation in general. So now present day Zach, walk me through like just a day in the life of like what you do now, how does it compare to the old days, quote unquote?
Yeah, the old days, I mean, getting up just because you were going to school, and just going to school and coming home and honestly doing nothing. And now, honestly, I have a routine. I mean, honestly, anyone could follow me if they wanted to. I have the same routine every day. But 4:45, I get up, take a shower, go to the gym. Definitely meditate when I come home from the gym, showering, eating breakfast, and then, hopping on meetings like this and just, gathering everything and just talking to people, getting to know people, helping people with their posting, influencing brands. And so it's pretty cool. It's been a huge journey for sure. And it's been amazing. So I love helping people. I love getting people out there because at some point, I was there. So it's definitely pretty cool.
Do you have any like major advice that you give people all the time just about either, focusing on a goal or just like starting their fitness journey or just ways to improve their diet?
Yeah, when it comes to fitness, take your time, don't stress, and little by little gets you far. So don't feel like you have to starve yourself. Don't feel like you have to go on these huge cleanses, or don't feel like you have to if you're not seeing anything, giving up. And I feel like where my people mostly came from was like, I had a YouTube channel back in the day, and a lot of people just found it so fascinating that one, I was posting all the time, and then two, just honestly just watching my progression go. And they could, you could see it in the videos, like how I was bigger to getting smaller, and basically showing my workouts, showing what I was eating, and just honestly just being myself and just being authentic and just being, always have to show kindness and be kind. So that's pretty much what I show people. And but going back to what you said about me being so, what was the word that you said? Vulnerable and posting and certain things. Like I just always been that way. I've always been like the type of guy that just being who I am, that's just who I am. I'm just going to show you who I am. I'm not going to let, the social media, get into my head. I mean, I'm just going to be myself. And because being yourself gets you so far. And it's just, I just rather just be myself than anybody else.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's how I feel too, is that the most authentically you is going to be the best version that people see. So I think that's really important because you kind of touch upon a lot of different things today as far as staying true to yourself and really just focusing on what's the most important as well as chiseling it. Don't take these huge chunks because that big swing could be way more detrimental and set you back than actually make you move forward. So I think that's really good, healthy advice to people is like taking it slow. I think that most people, they don't understand that there is no such thing as overnight results when it comes to these kind of weight loss or fitness journeys, because you didn't just drop 184 pounds like that. You know, you didn't just get big and sculpted into this NFL physique just in 2 weeks. It's not even a 90-day thing. It's years of just and keep investing. So I think it's great that you're just being as real as possible with people and showing them that it's like, okay, well, take my like type of advice and the YouTube videos that I post and filter that into your own inspiration, you know, because like, I'll say it again, that shiny, bright attitude that you bring to the camera really like speaks to a lot of people who are scared, sitting on the couch, don't know what to do. And, you know, it definitely helps to hear from somebody to just be like, just take it easy and let things come to you and things will just begin to grow. And then once people, I feel like once people see a little bit of growth, there just becomes this, all right, I want to see that like tenfold now. I want to see that just keep going and going and going. So thank you so much for just, again, being vulnerable enough to share your story with me today and have a conversation with me in general. Zaqq, where can people find you to just continue to follow this journey and to see all of your progress?
Yeah, so my Instagram is Zaqq with 2 Q's, ZAQQ, and then Hernandez. And then that's my Instagram. And then if you want to check out my website, it is Oz, AWZ by BY, and then Zaqq, ZAQQ.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. And I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their time here today, as well as in the future. You can always find me at my page with Brian Waterleaf, as well as keep following us at the Clean Plates podcast page. And remember, keep your plates clean and your hearts full. Thank you for joining me today on our flavorful journey here at Clean Plates. If you enjoyed our exploration into the world of food and the stories behind our eating habits, be sure to subscribe where you get your podcasts. And don't forget to share your own food stories on my personal page at Brian Waterleaf or the Clean Plates podcast page on Instagram. And remember, every plate has a story and we are here to discover them together. So stay curious, keep exploring, and continue to nurture your relationship with food. I'm Brian Romaine, and until